So, good evening, friends. I am Professor Shanmugam, a retired professor from Anna University, Chennai. 3 years back, I retired. Maybe you can solve this problem through some of the things he has given. Anyway, I have been telling that for the past 37 years, my age is 25. So, you could find out my age, right? Okay. Anyway, my association with this Pi Mathematical Society is as long as it's since inception. It used to be in the White's Road. Those time itself I used to come, and I have given lectures in this very hall about twice or thrice for the annual summer. He does internship program, and I think one of the lecture is going to be mine. Even every year, okay. And my association with Mr. Sivaraman and Professor Srinivas was almost concurrent. I think we all met in the Science City science exhibition where we both were the coordinators. And then only we came to know about him. And since then, I have been associating with this Pi Mathematical Society. And as Professor Srinivas was telling you that people hate mathematics because it is a dry subject. One could make it very interesting through such applications only, right? It's a very simple Fourier transformation which tells you how you get the numbers on your mobile phone. It's a very simple Fourier transformation. But unfortunately, it is not being brought out in a curriculum level, or the teachers are not that enthusiastic to collect such information and conceive and then put it to the students at large. Okay? And Professor Sivaraman is making use of that. Okay? And I congratulate the Pi Mathematical Society. And also Mr. Nagaprasadu, who was also my student, right, for the MSc mathematics he did in Anna University. Then later on he joined him for the project, as a first project, right? Yeah. So therefore, I wish Mr. Sivaraman and also the Pi Mathematical Society to grow in the interest of the mathematics. Maybe in this thing. Yeah. Yes, it should. It should go exponentially. Right. Thank you very much.
So before we leave, I just have a few remarks about how I felt with writing this book as an author. First, let me tell you that this is the 11th book that Pi Mathematics Association has been publishing today. When we initiated this association around 11 years back in 2007, we had a common agenda, like we even mentioned that in our trust deed, that we will publish one book per year. Maybe we could have added at least one book, probably. So anyway, so we are keeping that promise now because we are going to complete 11 years by this June, and we have already published 11th book now. So we are into that standard now. And maybe we might increase, because now I'm happy that people after me have started contributing enormously, especially when we have started writing Dinamalar paper. And there are many contributors pouring in our association after me, so I'm quite confident that in coming years that more books will be published, not by just me but by others also. So this is one of the biggest achievement that Pi Max Association has been achieved in recent times. So mathematics or any subject for that matter should not depend on a single person. It should be governed by a society. Only then it will survive for many years. So that's one thing that we should understand. And the second thing is the motive for writing this book is, when I was very young, I just loved reading Sherlock Holmes stories. So I want to make one such book where the hero is portrayed as Indian Sherlock Holmes. So the hero of this book was named Rudran. Maybe I may be selfish because Rudran is the name of Lord Shiva and I'm Sivaraman. So, so I'm a little bit selfish in that way, but not explicit anywhere. So that's one reason. And the other thing is, the whole idea of the book, as Professor Srinivas said, was divided into 12 chapters, and the hero was ably assisted by a doctor who plays the role of Watson in Sherlock Holmes stories. Her name is Sophia. Sophia, I chose Sophia because Sophia is the name that Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown has chosen. That's the main part of the story, meaning wisdom. So I love that word, so I took her for that name. Of course, Professor Srinivas mentioned one critical feedback to me, which I will take into account later. So anyway, I have taken that into account also. I will do that later. I enjoyed writing every book, and this book in particular, because mixing mathematics with stories is a different experience. It's easy to write a math book with a specific context, like if you're writing a book on linear algebra or calculus or a mechanics book, you know what is already done. And you have to allot the topics, segregate them, and then put the things accordingly, put them in the right place. But you already know what is done, what you have to do. But when writing a story and mixing with mathematics, you doesn't know what should happen. Sometimes you get a good story, but you can't get a nice math part to it. Sometimes you have a math part to it, but you don't get a suitable story. So mixing together is a challenging experience. And I was probably enjoying that part. In this regard, I have already written a book which got tremendous appreciation and response from the audience of all kinds. That book was titled Kadayil Kalanda Kanidam, written by our association. That was in Tamil version. And therefore, keeping that spirit in mind, we want to write a book, maybe in my ideal Sherlock Holmes type. So we have done this. Most of the chapters are well framed problems. There are problems which are like 11th story here is concerned about logical problem called Einstein's puzzle, which is a very famous logic problem that was already existing. So some of the problem, and the other story, I think 6th or 5th, I don't know, that was called chicken magnet problem. That was very classical problem in mathematics, in combinatorics. So I took that problem and framed the story accordingly. So in 3 or 4 cases, I took some of the important relevant problems, which is already in the literature, and then I want to give them in the form of a story. In other cases, I formed the stories first, and then took the mathematics for it. So in both ways I have done it. I enjoyed quite a bit in writing this, and maybe even if you take 1 month for reading a story, I think you can complete this book by a year.
No, I think it's a very addictive book. Exactly. I think you'll finish it within a week's time or something, or 10 days. Sherlock Holmes is like that, and this is exactly of that.
So I'm quite happy to do all these things, and I thank all my associates who had been guiding me and supporting me in all my endeavors. Whenever I ask them whether we could publish a book, they keep faith on me in writing. So, அவங்க நம்பிக்கை கொடுக்கலன்னா என்னால் எழுத முடியாது. And they always say, don't bother about money, it should be of good quality. Don't get bothered about money. So whether it's big or small, whether it's of any kind of quality, we always try to do something for the society, and Pi Math Association has succeeded in that way, and this is one of the ways that we reach people, and therefore we saw that this is the best way to do, and we will be publishing more in the future. We all thank you for being here and encouraging us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
I thank Professor Benoit Rittaud for your wonderful lecture, and Madam for your presence, and thank Professor K. Srinivas for your presence as well as blessings for the association as well as releasing the book.
See, Professor Srinivas was a brother to me. I forgot to introduce him, neither Naga Prasad, because there is no introduction for relatives, isn't it? You need not have to introduce a mother or brother or sister or something. So
I believe he doesn't need an introduction.
So anyway, we are sorry, sir, for not mentioning about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I thank Professor Shanmugam sir sir, and all the teaching staff as well as the students who are here. And thank you for making it. Thank you all.